What are you gonna do, like a little intro thing? It's your podcast, bro.
Nice, bruh.
Is it recording?
Yeah, we're fully recording. Dude,
Hello.
welcome to my room. Welcome to this podcast, this episode of the Diggs Dollop.
I know, it's about time. Because I remember when you, you made a post about it. I was like, oh, this is sick. Like, I'm sure I'll be on it at some point. It finally happened.
Finally happened after a whole 5 episodes.
Yeah, whole fun.
Dude, it's cool though. It's weird because it's like I'm trying to figure out exactly what direction like I want to go with this, because it's everyone has like an idea to like have a podcast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I want this to be like go in a certain direction, but I don't want it to be just like all humor or all like super serious. Dude, I do that all the time when I'm alone. Dude, it's so much harder to like incorporate like humor when you're alone.
Yeah, you're like telling jokes like, oh, do I laugh at my own joke? Oh, I'm so funny.
It's impossible, especially with like certain topics I want to talk about that are like not just like talking shit and stuff.
Well, it's like Mowgli.
Stop. Dude, you
Well,
just ruined this.
Well, and it's like, especially if you're like trying to make light heart of kind of a heavy thing. It's like, oh, like I have depression. Oh,
I know, dude. Yeah.
like laugh, guys. It's funny. I promise. It's like it's okay. It's like I'm okay, but it's
Yeah. Well, and that's what I've Mowgli. Please stop. Hold on. Dude. So this week is why I wanted to have Steele on for this week is because we are just both mentally effed people.
I'm the poster child of mental health.
That's so not true. And what is pretty funny about it is like we each, I feel like, have our own ways of like self-deprecating humor, of like making light of actually.
It's a lot of sad clown humor.
Yeah.
It's like, haha, laugh at me, so it's like not a serious thing.
So these deep
so I don't feel
wounds
sad.
hurt so bad.
Yeah. It's like, it's funny.
Totally.
I've got problems.
But that's like really what I've found with like just my own stuff, especially like being around friends and stuff. Like when you're alone, those feelings are super heavy and super real and super not funny. So, but then like, especially being around, like a group of guys.
Well, and like we're so good. Like me, as we're like so good about. I mean, Ezra not so much, but
Just
like
about feelings.
yeah. But I mean, it's just no. Like you're right. Like it's when you're with like friend, and that's the thing is like you could never like open yourself up and like be lighthearted with like your family, because it's like they're just gonna have a bias, and that's the thing is like
for sure.
And that's the thing that's so nice about like being able to talk to your friends about is because like yes, you know that they love you, but like and then also when like they've also kind of gone through some stuff, like there's not gonna be any bias, so it's like you can speak your mind and just know that
Totally. And I feel like also with like having friends that are really there to just like listen to you. With I feel like family, there's a lot of like fix it type mentality.
Yeah,
like, oh,
absolutely.
you just need to do this. You just need to do this. Like, I'm going to fix this for you, which is, it comes from a good place, but also that's just not reality.
Yeah. And it's like that's not always what you need.
Yeah.
It's like you just need events sometimes. And
totally. Like, that's why I really enjoyed being able to go to a completely non-biased person, like a licensed therapist. Yeah. That can point the finger back at you and be like, look at your actual behavior of what you're doing, without like a family member. They're not going to really want to like hurt your feelings because they actually do love you and really care about you. So it's like kind of natural to be like, I'm going to hold back what I really think and try and cater to what I think is going to not hurt your feelings the most, but may not be the most beneficial for you.
And it's like, and with a therapist who's like exactly what you said, like that's exactly what I think, but they're not going to hold back, because like if you want to talk to your family or like even your friends to some degree, it's like they are going to maybe kind of be walking on eggshells with you or whatever it may be, but like a psychologist, because God, I was seeing one for about 2 years, I think ish. But I mean, it's like you.
Yes.
Did I beat you? Do I win?
Hell no.
Damn.
I have years on you.
Yeah, you probably do.
Just kidding.
Well, no, because
But I say years of like
of probably like really bad, and then they're like, yeah, like I'm good, and then you hit rock bottom again.
Not just like a therapist, but like just looking back on it, like I feel like you can see this in me too. Like I spent a lot of time, like whenever we would get together, of just like starting to fire hose what is going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is just too much. This is crazy.
Yeah, we were kind of your therapist for a while.
That's what I'm saying. It's like I just had to get shit out.
Yeah.
Where that was like my coping mechanism
Mm-hmm.
was like just like needing to share and have someone just listen and have like different perspective, but then being able to really just like let go of shit and not have it just consume my day-to-day well-being, which is super hard to do because like what I've kind of been understanding with just like educating myself a lot more just on like how things affect the body, and especially through childhood, how things literally affect us so much, and then with our just society, you grow up as a child, you go through school, then you go into the workplace, and so many of us just mindlessly just continue that pattern without really internalizing like, oh shit, like I probably have things from my childhood that are causing me to feel stressed and anxious and depressed. And this is, of course, these conversations are all relative, but like a lot of what weighs on the human body are things that happen to us in childhood. So that's really what I've like been so fascinated with, and just like wanting to open up that door of just like creating conversations.
Yeah. Well, have you looked into very much stuff about developmental psychology? I mean, like what you're saying you have, but like maybe you just don't know the word. But
yeah, I struggle with words.
Yeah,
Everyone's
I can figure out what you're trying to say, and I'll have the words for you. But yeah, developmental
exactly
psychology.
What happened when I had my sister on here is like I'll describe something so perfectly, but there's like a specific word out there to describe what I'm saying. Yeah.
Like you're giving the Webster definition, but you can't actually use the word. But no, like, yeah, because like developmental psychology was like one of the favorite classes I took, but one of the big topics and something that I'm really interested in, I might do research on, is it's like attachment theory. Have you heard anything about that?
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, I wrote
like codependency.
Yeah, like there's just, I mean, attachment theory is a big umbrella term and all that stuff, but you know that I think that is a
For
good.
sure.
It's cool, you know. It's almost like, you know, tracing back what's been, you know, experiences and all that kind of stuff, and like you can start tracking down, and that was a lot of what, you know, the time I was talking with my therapist was like tracing things back and trying to associate
really pinpointing
behaviors with experiences, or you know, anything like that. And you know,
which is so foreign to most people. Like what I'm saying, trying to describe of just like being mindful, like what the hell does that even mean? It's like really looking at yourself with as little bias as you can, and like really starting to understand, like, I may not be just what I am right now and have to figure out how to cope with this. Like digging up all of those things make you see and understand how like your body creates like protective parts of itself to try and like protect its body and mind from getting hurt again from whatever experience that you may have gone through. So then you go into adulthood, and those things may not serve you to the best degree, whereas in childhood it's like you just have to kind of experience life and survive. So and it's like that's totally fine, but then once you're supposed to be an adult and start providing for yourself and start transitioning into just owning up to and taking accountability for yourself, which is super hard when you have a lot of shit that's weighing on you, that you can't just, like, it's super hard to just get thrown into like the business world and like thrown into schooling, and it just is a lot more difficult when all of your capacity is taken up by like traumatic events.
No, I mean that's spot on. And you know, something that I've kind of, cause like, God, I mean, we haven't I miss you, by the way. Like, we haven't hung out a lot lately.
Dude,
Just
I
been so
definitely miss
crazy, but just getting that out of the way. But like, no, like you are just gonna see like how much I've like developed and grown over this last year.
Well, I can already definitely
Yeah.
feel it after
Yeah.
getting out of some toxic relationships.
Yeah.
Maybe
No,
not. That's not the right word.
but no, it's just like, I mean,
That
it's
was just a funny comedic relief moment.
just throwing a little humor to lighten things up.
Yeah, dude.
It's like, but no, it just, I mean, it's like, and it's something that's just so nice is like having that perspective now. It's like, man, like I really was struggling.
Yeah.
Because like you can't recognize it when you're in it. But like,
Totally.
and it's just so hard to like see where you're at when you're in the moment. Like if you're on cloud nine or if you're at rock bottom.
Yeah,
and so
dude.
it's like,
Yes.
you know, people who say like, you know, it's like, oh, you just gotta, you know, do what you can to like make the best of your life. It's like, yeah, that's true. But like, understand that those rock bottoms are going to give you perspective and just make you appreciate like cloud nines and the highs so much better.
Totally, dude.
And
I totally agree.
and you know, people who like, and that's the thing is, you know, experiencing trauma's a normal thing. Trauma's a healthy thing because it gives us perspective. You know, it's like, you know, we have a lot of experience with this. You know, kids around us who grow up just with not a problem in the world, everything's taken care of. And you know, obviously, we don't know everything going on behind the scenes, but
yeah,
you know, they don't really have much trauma, and they don't have like a ton of negative experiences. You know, maybe like we do or whoever.
And
that
comes with a whole different set of struggles when you're then faced with yourself as an adult.
Yeah, and so that's the thing is their first major trauma is when they're 24 years old. They're like, what the hell do I do?
Yeah, totally.
But for us, you know, we've been kind of practicing and figuring it out and learning as we go.
Kind of not forced, but like you just have to adapt very quickly, which causes you to take on responsibility as a child that may not be, that is like very like adult oriented.
Yeah, I mean, it forces you to grow up.
Yeah, for sure.
And maybe forces isn't the best word, but you know, it's like if I hadn't gone through some of the stuff I did when I was younger, like there's no way I could have dealt with stuff that I had to deal with, you know, in college.
Totally.
You know.
Totally. And like you were saying, like it's super hard to see that perspective when you are at like a rock bottom state. Like when you say that, I think of this time in my life where like I was just like going from one thing to the next of just like repeating just shitty patterns that were exhausting for myself, and then just getting into these relationships that would be like just honestly like the same the same kind of story, just with a different person. That like I got to a point where it's like I feel like I'm nuts, like I feel like I'm crazy. Like the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again expecting a different result. So that's exactly what I was like, what my life was just like repeating these patterns, like, and then being like, trying to find every reason as to why it wasn't something that I needed to fix, or that I needed to go inward and just kind of address or go get help. And why I wanted to talk just with a man about this is that with kind of today's society and how a lot of our, you know, Western culture is set up, of just kind of like the man is like a provider and like is like shouldn't really address these emotional parts because that's more of a feminine role. Like that is such dog shit.
Well, what percentage of suicides do you think are male?
Isn't it like 60%?
75% of suicides are
male. Yeah, see, dude, and like that's why it's so important to just like talk about openly that like it's okay to express and get to the bottom of emotional baggage and crap that's not like all fun and games and macho and like, you know.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I can say this because I've definitely been there, done that, but it's like, it's arrogant to just like no, like I don't want to talk about my feelings, or you know, I can handle it. It's just because it's like not. It's because eventually it's gonna get bad enough where you're gonna start damaging yourself. You're gonna start damaging those around you. Your relationships are gonna start suffering, and it's like it's arrogantly selfish
Yeah.
to do that, because it's like
it becomes a matter of
it
when.
is. It's
when are you gonna do it?
and it's pride too. It's like just fucking lower your ego. Sorry, I don't know if I can say.
Yeah, you can
fucking-
say no.
It's like just fucking like lower your just drop your ego, and it's like you don't need to be this hard nosed, emotionless, providing. It's like it doesn't that's just not
a
the case.
fantasy. Like
It
that's
really
something
is.
that we've created that isn't actually what a human being is about. Like that's so damaging, because that's not like a natural version of what a whole human being should be trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
And I really like that you brought up the point of getting rid of your ego. Like I've been the past kind of year just really been obsessed with like studying what is the ego, like with myself.
Have you read Ego is the Enemy?
Uh-uh.
Find that book. It's really good. It's
Really?
probably one of my favorite books I've read.
Once we stop this, I need to put that in my
Yeah.
list of books.
Yeah, it's so good.
But like with me, like I feel like that's just a term that's thrown around a lot too. But like when you talk about ego, like for instance, like I feel like high school is like all ego. Like everyone is focused on, dude, did you see that this dude's driving this car? And you're so focused on how people see you, like that part of you that wants to be seen, that part of you that like wants things to fuel your sense of accomplishment and like who you are. If I have all of these things, all these people will see me as such. But like getting rid of that portion of your consciousness that is so reliant on focusing on how other people see you, and transitioning into like just like I feel like it's a higher level of being a part of this world or consciousness, whatever you want to use, to be able to break away from just that mentality and not needing to rely on what people think of you. And like, how would you describe like dropping your ego? Like that's such an umbrella term.
I mean, that is a question. Like what I was going to say next, that is a question that lets me answer. But it's like something that I learned and just kind of figured out is like I just don't matter. Like in the grand scheme of things, I really don't matter. And when you realize that you're literally just like a speck of dust, like
totally.
I mean, it's like, it's, that sounds kind of far fetched and like fairy tale, but that's so true. Like
that's like,
we don't matter. We don't matter.
Yeah.
Like what this person thinks of you just doesn't. It literally does not matter unless you want it to matter.
Which that's like a hole that consumes you when you're so like I am such a good example of this because
it's called spotlight effect. Have you heard about that?
No.
I mean,
it's people pleasing.
No, it's just that you think, and everyone does this. It's not but it's like spotlight effect is where you think everybody is just so focused in on you, and God, the amount of times I've had issues with that, but it's like no, people don't give a shit about it. Like for me, like
everyone really is consumed with themselves.
Like, and that's not a bad thing, but it's like people don't really give a shit about you.
Yeah.
Like,
see,
take that as it is, but
like that can be comforting, but also really damaging depending on who you're talking to.
And that's why it's.
But when I look at it, like when you're saying that, I see, like, you don't matter in the grand scheme of things, like you're as a speck of dust. But if you can get to a point where you feel like you matter to just yourself, that you're empowered from within yourself, that you feel like you don't need outsiders' opinions to fuel your sense of accomplishment and belonging, reason to be here, then it's like you don't need to matter to anyone else because you know exactly who you are and what you stand for within yourself. Like you don't need someone to, which I feel like that's a constant thing of constantly working to gravitate towards.
Yeah.
We have so many why this is, I feel like such, like just even starting this, and why I feel like, I feel weird starting to talk about these subjects, because I feel like a lot of people are our age right now that are just there are so many distractions right now that it's so much easier now than ever to get caught up just in whatever distractions you want to talk about, you know what I mean? Yeah. And why it's like it takes a different type of person to really hone in on just like really focusing on things that affect us internally and wanting to get to a state of being where those that you aren't so heavily reliant on external sources or distractions in order to just feel numb.
Yeah, I mean, and that's things that just comes with maturity. That's why kids in high school struggle so bad, is because they're just not mature enough to, figure that out.
Which is so like, funny because you say that to us in high school and it's like instant
rage. Yeah, it's like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm so mature. I know what I'm doing. No, no, you don't. You don't. Like, it's so like I always think about this. Like, I think a year to 5 years back, I'm like, man, I really didn't know shit back then. And then I just know in 5 years, when I'm 27, looking back now, it's like, man, I'm not going to know shit about myself.
Yeah, dude.
It's like, I mean, and honestly, that makes me like excited, because it's like, I'm just going to keep like learning and growing.
Blossoming.
And, yeah, it's like, it just,
yeah.
You think that way, and it's like, man, like I'm just going to keep like growing.
Yeah, totally. And with like how we were just talking about, like thinking of yourself in high school, like I've been doing just like a lot of stuff like that, and like really thinking of like in high school, like you hear adults being like, oh, just you wait, like you don't even understand how life is yet, like whatever, like, but then really to like trying to think of yourself when you were a child, and like you're thinking just as much as you were back then and in high school as you are now. Like really just like to think about, like you're processing just as much. It's so easy for like adults to want to put like younger kids down and generations and make them be like, oh, you're so stupid because I've experienced so much more because I'm an adult and I'm older. But like you hear that from people, and like you still have this part of you that goes like I don't believe you, because if that were the case, all you would have to do is just live, and you would increasingly become more and more wise, which that's not the case with so many damn people. So many people are just unaware of themselves and the effect they have on others. Like, there are so many people like we've experienced that are way more mature in high school, way more mature as in their 20s, 30s, whatever. Even little kids that seem like they're like teenagers, you know what I mean? Like, there is certain types of, processing that comes with just like different levels of awareness. So that's like what I've been like just really intrigued with, like how far can I go with obtaining different levels of processing and consciousness, and like lowering my ego and not being so inflated and internally involved with my mental crap. Like how much can I let go of to just like,
and going back to just kind of like just talking about like the different levels of cognitive ability, like as we grow, it's like, and I think that's something that you and I both can kind of have a good perspective on from ourselves, and as well as coaching, because like you deal with like high school kids who are just going through the worst years of their life. I'm the same, like, because I coach totally. So kids going to their junior year, I think, sophomore year, junior year, I don't know. I coach 23 graduates, 24 graduates, and then 28 graduates, the little fifth graders, which are so fun.
Dang,
they're so much fun.
Dude,
but like,
I bet that is fun.
Yeah, but it's just like, I mean, it's like you can see like some kids stand out in maturity, some kids don't. It's just like there's nothing wrong, there's nothing good or bad about it. It's just like everyone does their own thing at their own pace. Yeah,
and learning different lessons. Like, that's why I don't like have an issue with advice, but I've really come to understand that people are going to have different opinions from their own experience that they may struggle with later in life. Yeah. Like, people are going to say, oh, you just don't need to do this. And like, or like, we've grown up in a society where there's like just like the holiday mentality. If like you check all of these boxes and like I'm kind of on my high horse because I've done A, B, and C, but then those same people that are giving you advice on how to live life are then going through
convinced I'm going to go to hell because I drink and do drugs and
you are
swear
going to hell for sure.
That's just such what is that?
a phone call. That's
Sounds
super
like it's from
annoying,
your
though.
bed.
It's my Apple Watch.
Oh, why aren't you wearing it?
That would be nice because then I could literally see.
Yeah, look at my watch tan line.
Dude, I have ring tan lines.
Oh, you are so bougie. You wear rings.
Yeah, dude, I love jewelry. I'm so in touch with my feminine side.
Well, and you got what are they called? Your vibe beads.
I don't know what they're called. They're just called beads, bro.
What'd you call them when you put them on? Your vibe beads? Well, your bad vibe
My
blockers.
Yes, dude. My bad vibe beads.
What's that shirt you have?
Anti-bad vibe shield.
Yeah. That's
My
beads.
anti-bad vibe beads.
Your beads.
I knew that was coming.
Like those bracelets where you like whip them on.
Yeah,
Like
dude.
so it's like you like whip those on, but then like when you want to use them for butt stuff, you just whip off and you whip them up, and when you're done, just give them a quick wash and whip them back on your wrist.
That's dirty.
Yeah.
That's stinky.
Stinky.
Oh my freak, dude. I'm glad that we're incorporating this into mental health.
Just lighten the mood a little bit.
It's
just lighten the mood.
whatever helps your mental state.
Yeah, just lighten the mood.
Butt stuff.
Yeah.
Like I thoroughly enjoy my time on the toilet.
I don't. But I also shit like fives because I have I'm just unhealthy. Period. Like, you know how like I shit like 6 times a day probably.
Yeah.
And it's like not comfortable poops either. They're violent.
They're violent poops.
Yeah, they're violent.
I'm sure
so it's
your
like I kind of
loves that. Have you guys pooped yet?
Yeah, that's the one. We refuse to poop in front of each other.
Yeah, dude, that takes a while.
Yeah.
That's serious trust.
Yeah, but I mean like that's literally the only thing.
The only thing that you guys haven't done.
Yeah.
You guys have explored everything else.
Easy.
Have you guys kissed yet?
Yeah, we've kissed a couple times.
Dude, that's a weird thing. Is like think of how just insane like your first kiss was, or just like.
Do you want to hear about it?
Kissing, yeah.
I had a bad first kiss. So it was in Jake Dunn's backyard. It was me, Jake Colton Payne, with Jake's old junior high girlfriend Hannah Matern, who I was convinced he was gonna marry.
Nice.
So I remember telling him, he was like, dude, like you're gonna marry that girl. We're in 8th grade.
Things feel just as real back then.
God, they do. It's like, God, that was the most relevant thing. But no, it was us 3, and then Bella Silva, C-Payne's girlfriend. I don't know her name. And Emma Balliff. Maybe you don't remember her, but like, 8th grade crush. Like I was crushing on Emma, and we were playing, God, Truth or Dare probably. So I don't even know if you can count that as your first kiss, but we get dared to kiss. I'm like, oh God, it's my first kiss. Nobody knows. But obviously, like, you can't say that because you're just gonna get shit on by your friends. And I lean in and I kiss her, and we pull away. And you know what she says to me? She goes, "You kiss really weird."
Oh, that is where you started to have just.
It's my first kiss. It's like a girl I have a crush on. You kiss really weird.
So much mistrust
like,
after that.
Oh man, that hurt.
See, going back to childhood wounds.
That hurt.
Instantly has issues with women.
Yeah, that hurt. That hurt. Yeah, it's fine though. No, Emma's. Yeah,
oh, dude.
I saw her recently, and like we joked about that.
I have a funny story for a first kiss.
I don't know your first kiss.
This is also weird too, because like name dropping the people that listen to this is like
I know
it's like 10.
What all 5 people that listen?
Yeah, I know.
Just one of them happens to be.
Oh,
it's Jake Dunn.
Probably.
What you think Emma Ballas listening?
Dude,
by the way, I love Emma Ballas. She's awesome.
My first kiss, dude, I was so scared. I was crapping my
same.
pants, like full body shakes, like consumed by fear.
Oh, when all you can feel is your heart rate.
Yeah, and you're like, I want to do this thing, and she went, okay, but like my first kiss, like honestly, like I appreciate this person so much because she literally like held my hand through the whole through the whole experience. No, metaphorically, like she like. Because I was so scared.
Well, like, can you give me some context? Like,
yeah, I'll get into it further. But I was just so nervous and so scared that like she had to like it's okay. Like, you can do it. You can do this. Like, we can get through this. And I'm just like, I can't.
I can't do it. I can't do it. I need to call my mom.
Dude, that's such a funny stage of life because it's like you're
know.
just raging with like hormones. And,
Yeah.
like, all your friends start like talking to girls, and it's like the craziest experience. Like, oh my gosh.
Like, do you remember like when you get a boner just like cuddling with a girl?
Oh,
Yeah.
that was awful.
Right, and you're just like.
You're like, I hope they don't know. I hope they don't.
I
You can't
know.
move. Like, you don't even
Yes.
you don't even move your body for like 2 hours.
Yes.
Because cuddling is the most gnarly thing on
And you're
planet
you're
Earth.
just fully bricked up for a good 2 hours.
Yes, dude.
Yeah, man, the good old days.
Dude, and it's like severely like all the guys
And it
knows what's
hurts.
going on, and like secretly the girls kind of know what's going on
Yeah.
too, and they talk about it.
Yeah.
But like it's just the scariest feeling of like I am like you almost feel like guilty about it. Like I feel like a piece of crap
Well, also
that I'm reacting like this by
Utah.
touching a girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is kind of off topic, but something I saw a thing and it was like, you know, it was probably on TikTok, honestly, which is I hate saying that, but it is what it is. But
all the greatest things.
yeah, but it's like,
I learned so much from TikTok.
but it's like, you know, it's like girls are asking like, guys, why don't you shoot your shot with girls? And it's like, because we don't want to end up as a screenshot in y'all's group message.
oh my god,
It's so true.
so relevant.
Like,
Oh my gosh,
like it's
look,
scary.
you just hit me up.
Yeah, and
There's so many things like that.
it sucks.
And see, that's what I feel like a lot of just like meme culture creates like such a fear of just like doing normal things, because it's like, yeah, you become a meme. And like in high school, like just think of all the things that we experienced with being fresh into like the social media world of like kids tweeting things, like something happens, something gets out. Like,
Do you remember
you
Ask FM?
you have no.
Oh, you didn't have that?
No.
Oh, that was a bad app. That was
Why?
a bad app. You sign up, you make an account, and you can ask people anonymous questions.
Oh,
So
no.
like you and I could be signed up, and I can send you I could literally send you anything, and it won't tell you who wrote it.
Who it is?
Yeah.
Oh, so you could just
Oh
say
my god,
awful crap.
cyberbullying to the fucking max.
Oh, I'm sure, dude.
Yeah, that got taken down pretty quick.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sure. That's good.
No, it was bad.
But that's what I'm saying, dude. Like, why it's so damaging for like kids to be like, or for adults to be like, oh, just you wait until you get to the real world. Like, dude, they're in the real world and going through some gnarly shit
yeah.
with just social media, and like why it's so important to just talk about mental things, because it's like screw like going into the real world and getting a job. Like as a teen, like you're going through so much crap just with like, just think of our experience in high school where we didn't even have like as much okay, we had the knowledge of social media, but just like it's not getting any better. Like all of these platforms and stuff to like you have an experience with a person, and then like kids are so like don't have the proper just like coping mechanisms and aren't able to communicate their feelings. So like if you have an experience with a person and it goes south, like that person on either end could like send like screenshots or like whatever, like things that were really intimate between two people, then get made public for everyone to see, and then you literally have like the most mistrust, and like that is so damaging, dude, to like have people literally see just like a very intimate side of you that like shouldn't be sold. And then on top of like cancel culture, like,
oh my god, high school kids are fucked up. Like, god,
Yeah,
high school is brutal.
Brutal.
Like I had like a lot of fun.
Funny to say the worst thing that you can think of.
Yeah, it like really like high school is fucking brutal. It's tough.
So tough.
It is. I mean, it's like
the
and
time. It's so fun, and like you're surrounded by fun people and distractions, and just like it's fun.
But I mean, that's the thing.
But
is, like,
behind
I
closed
both played
doors-
we both played sports. Like we both, you know, like had friends, but like that doesn't mean it's easy. Like
no.
God, hard.
No, and this is why like I want to talk about the things that aren't just like I want to talk about the things that happen when you're freaking alone and faced with all the things that add up, that all the things that actually do make you feel some type of way when you're alone faced with yourself. Like, I want to create like just a place where like that's more openly talked about than just like funny shit, because it's real, dude. Like this crap. Some of the hardest times of my life where it's like it makes those points like make you feel so isolated and so small and impowerful, and like just like as I'm sure you know, it like
I feel like your lines aren't going very high. Is it turned up enough? Because mine go up.
maybe you just have a deeper,
richer
timbre
tone.
in your voice.
A richer tone. Okay, sorry,
You have a richer tone.
Go ahead.
You have a dick tone.
Yeah.
But let's just wind this up with like some takeaways, like through.
It's been maybe 20 minutes. I know it feels like a lot longer.
That's what's nice. No,
As
sure
opposed, like, but with Ezra, you're just like, Ezra,
what's
you
next?
Want to give me any help here?
So Ezra,
I watched that podcast of you guys in my bed alone, and I was just cracking up because I knew how mad you were, and I knew how little Ezra cared.
Yeah, dude. We should have Ezra on here just so he can be.
Let's get us three, and we'll just
the
fucking
voice
shit on him.
No, but the voice of reason, of like.
He'll just be the voice of like objectivity, like objectiveness.
Yes, of like. See, that's Benson. That's Benson too. Of like.
Is he?
Of like, just not openly talking about just like feelings and emotion.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's so. It's. Yeah. Ezra. God, yeah.
What are you gonna say while Ezra's gonna listen to this? What do you want to say that you wouldn't say to his face?
Do you think Ezra's gonna listen?
Yeah.
Didn't he openly say he hasn't listened to any of yours?
Probably.
Oh, I
Same
love
with
Ezra,
my-
but he's just a little inconsiderate.
Inconsiderate. See, it's like he talks about it too. He goes like,
He
I like
brags
to,
about it.
if this is a simulation, like what if it's my simulation and everyone else is just like a part of my simulation?
Yeah.
Like that's what
The problem Ezra's problem is that he just like if he gets hooked on something, he's just so goddamn stubborn that it's the like if he got hooked on the idea that we're in a simulation, he is never going to back down from that, and he will fight us to the death on it. But no, what I was going to say is I think he would absolutely love my statement of like that you're not really important and no one is paying attention to you.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I think that's something he does such a good job of.
Yeah,
he
does, dude.
He's just so comfortable in his own skin and like comfortable doing his own thing.
See, that's what I'm curious about with Ezra, dude. Listen, bro, I see through you. Don't think that I don't see
you.
through it, but no, just like that persona of like he does do a great job of just like not letting what people think of him get to him. But I also question like I wonder if it does.
Yeah.
I wonder when he's not
just Ezra all alone
a weed at his bed
at the Jeffrey home, just per usual, just pretty much every night it seems like.
Oh, drinking LaCroix.
Yeah.
See, on the topic of just like substance, like I obviously kind of grew up. I don't know. Maybe we'll have to edit this shit out, but I grew up in a. This is a part that I've struggled with the podcast because like I really want to talk about my experience.
Yeah, that's hard.
But like for obvious reasons, like. But like I grew up with a lot of drinking in a home.
Mm-hmm.
And just seeing like long-term effects on those being the main coping mechanisms that someone has, like, and then starting to see just like a similar pattern of behavior for me to gravitate towards similar coping mechanisms. So like where I've been at, it's like I've been thoroughly trying to not feel attached to anything.
Yeah, that's good.
You know what I mean?
Well, that was a big thing with me quitting nicotine was like, because I was, like, how much I was using, and it was just like, I don't want this to be like on my head, because like,
yeah, like you want to be free. You want to be free.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's like, like if I have like a Zin in or whatever, it's like, and I spit it out after, I throw it away after a while. It's like, all right, like when am I going to be able to step away from my family, or when am I going to get back to my house and like grab a new one? It's like,
it creates like this weird dynamic of like feeling like you need to hide it and like feeling like you don't want your family to see.
And it's like I was ashamed of it. Like I really was.
Yeah.
And that was such a huge thing for me quitting. It's just like I hate feeling like embarrassed about this.
Yeah, dude, and like the body feeling like it needs to have something in order to like
Oh.
that was like a comfort that like
Well, I was like that a little bit in May too, because I was a bum all of May because graduated, done lacrosse, and I was just bumming it out. But with that, you know, it kind of goes back to that idea of just giving yourself perspective, because like yeah, like it can be fun for a little bit, but then after a while you're like, you know, I kind of just miss like being just stone cold sober, just
dude.
being there,
and it's being there.
That's what it is,
Yeah.
because it's like you know.
Yeah, dude, because it's like you said, it's fun, like to just experiment with like different places of consciousness. Like, oh, what does this thing do to like? Oh, woo, this is wild.
Yeah,
like,
like, golf is
I feel
fun
different
high.
on the inside. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then when it's like your body starts to like convince itself that it's better with that substance, but then another part of you is like fighting, like I know that I don't want this and I know that I don't need this, but then it becomes like an internal battle that you're so heavily consumed with that like it makes just living feel like a battle.
Yeah.
Like that you can't like be there without being like, okay, when am I gonna go?
Like when am I gonna be able?
When's
to
the
smoke
next
again?
chemical release of this feeling?
Yeah.
It's so interesting.
Yeah. But you know what is so funny? So, and I don't care about saying this on here, but like, so I started taking Lexapro, which is SSRI, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, jargon, just an antidepressant, in November-ish.
Yeah.
And I was taking a pretty standard amount, and when I moved, and it was like I was doing really well, and there was a point in maybe March or something where I was just, and the thing with antidepressants is, and especially this kind, SSRI, is you need to be really, really careful about taking it and not taking it, because if you go cold turkey, you know, you can obviously miss 3-4 days, but you know, for me, and like what I was saying was in March or April, whenever it was, I just kind of unintentionally went like a week or so just because I didn't fill up my prescription. I didn't have time to get out and do that. And it hit me so hard.
Depression.
Yeah. I mean, I remember what I was doing, and I was like, holy shit, like I'm kind of not doing really well right now.
Yeah.
And so obviously, you know, I go pick up my prescription right away. And then when I moved back home at the end of May, I just so happened to lose, like I just lost my pill bottle, honestly. I just got lost in moving.
Yeah.
And, you know, like I said, I also quit using nicotine. I was like, you know, I'm going to just kind of see how it goes. And I had no problem at all. And I think it's because I, like, got rid of nicotine, too.
Really?
I think it's because I went cold turkey with my medicine, and then I also went cold turkey with the nicotine. And I just think, like I really had no problem at all.
Dude, that is so interesting. I have things to say, but I'm pushing pause because I need to close the window.
Yeah.
Hold on. So, on this subject, so what
Drugs.
I've really, so like, obviously, you're more of a professional than I am with your education, but like, just speaking from experience and what, like, I've just experienced. So, with where I've been through, like, going through school, like, I really did not like going through the school process and how it worked. It's like I would go through school just like doing the best I could, get the best grades I could just to be able to hang out and be around people. Like that's the part I really enjoyed. And then like post school and then going into college and then like going into jobs, like whatever, I still like I feel like I was kind of molded in a way to think and believe that like I couldn't learn very well or as well as other people could, whether that was my own internal thought process that made me believe that or someone else's. So anyway, like I started like researching like, oh, ADHD, ADD, and like all of these things, and like, oh, this sounds like me, this sounds like I can't really, like something feels like it's going on in here. So then I go get tested and I get diagnosed clinically by a psychologist with ADD, maybe it was ADHD, I don't know, one of those. But like
probably ADHD.
The hyperactive part of my brain was like super high.
Yeah, that's ADHD.
So I get prescribed Adderall, and that is like literally legal meth.
Mm-hmm.
Like it really
It's
does.
brutal.
It really does like have this chemical
Yeah.
effect on the brain that is just like,
Yeah.
like it's a wild experience, and like not gonna lie, like I enjoyed that experience. You know what I mean? So then it was like a comfort that we have all of these labels that you can identify with to make yourself think that you have this issue that is an issue that has a fix with, you know, a certain chemical. So that felt kind of like nice, like, oh, this is the easy fix, like there's something wrong with me. So then I gravitate towards that, and then I start really depending on that chemical to just go through normal life experiences. And then like it got to a point where it's just like I started to just feel so exhausted with like that chemical, and feeling like I needed it, and like feeling like I couldn't do just day-to-day things without that thing.
Yeah, you were just feeling dependent on it.
Yeah, like my sense of accomplishment was because of that chemical.
Your sense of accomplishment shifted from you were doing it to
This is
the
a chemical.
Adderall was letting you do it.
Yes, exactly.
So you were
So-
attributing your success to the
Totally.
Adderall.
Which
Yeah.
I think can be a major issue
Yep.
with all of these labels and things that we've,
Yep.
you know, created to just try and put our whatever psychological condition into a box that can be filled or fixed by an external source like medication. And this is all speculative. Like, I'm not a professional, obviously. I'm going to keep saying that. But then getting to a point in my life where it's like I want to be able to do whatever I want without anything. Like, I want to be free from myself and things that I tell myself that I think I need to have in order to create success. And I avoided all of the things that came like that I was told that can help with me feeling more organized, being able to accomplish more, like writing things down, writing out a plan, planning
I
things.
love writing stuff down.
Yeah, and like things like that, like just being more mindful, like not just scatterbrained, bouncing from one thing to the other, to the other, to the next, to the next. And so that's where I really came to like really be fascinated with how much of what I thought I was is not true. How much of what my experience was prior to me thinking the simple fix was like a chemical can transition into me creating a more sustainable, more productive version of Dallin that I didn't think I could be through all of the tough and shitty things that take a lot longer to do. That we live in a society where it's easy and quicker to just get that simple fix that fixes things quickly, but it's like you can get stuck in those ruts for a lifetime.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whew, damn.
I felt
Mic
good, I
drop.
bet.
Mic drop.
I felt good for you.
Yeah. See, and that's why like these things are.
Are you taking anything right now?
No.
It's nice, isn't it?
It is
Cold
nice.
Turkey.
But like I'm sure you can feel too with like this is like one of the first times of my life where I've really dedicated like a schedule to physical activity for like a long period of time, not just like the weekend warrior, like go hard for 1 week and then not do anything.
And take a month off.
Like it really does like reprogramming my brain to when I have ruts to not fall into patterns of letting myself just feel shitty, but understanding that I can change this deep, dark emotion.
Yeah.
And a lot of people just want to identify with that feeling that, no, you don't understand what I'm feeling. Like, this is what I'm feeling. This is unique to me.
Yeah.
But what I've come to understand is that I've been able to, you know, change. Like, obviously, those emotions still come, and you don't just so heavily rely on, like, identifying with that feeling that I am this feeling. I am depression. I am anxiety. Like it gets to a point where you can, you know, train it and understand what it is and let it go.
Yeah.
Not to not feel it, but you can feel it and experience.
Yeah.
But have a quicker turnaround to letting it go.
Yeah. You let it go. My doctor described it as, you can imagine like mangrove trees, right? Water, mangrove trees, land. And, you know, big waves come in, and those are kind of those overwhelming emotions, and You just let it, you feel it out, you know, you deal with it, you process it however you need to. And by the time that wave has gone to land, right, it's died down because of all those mangrove trees. And that's kind of how it's like,
Damn.
it's going to come, right? Like, that'd be, like, life would be so boring if it was just all, like, just easy. Like, God, that'd be so boring.
Yes.
And so it's like those waves, you know, those kind of overwhelming emotions, like, they're going to come. They're never going to end. That's a good thing. But, like, just let them come. Like, let them be. Deal with it, process it however you need to, and then it's over.
Yeah. Dude, so well said.
Yeah.
So well said. I love talking in a way that people can, like, use imagery.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. Like, and I just do so much of my, like, problem solving and, like, kind of mental thinking just based, you know, it's like I just love ideas. Like, I love quotes.
Me too.
You know, like, just you know, and it's like, honestly, like, through Utah lacrosse, like, I've just acquired so many of them, which is, like, something I'm so thankful for. Is like, I can, you know, I feel like I've got something for so many different emotions, so many different, like, scenarios.
Through quotes from, like, coaches, or
through
through
experience, through, you know, those lows, through talking to friends, through talking to my parents, through talking to my you know, just all those experiences I've had have just accumulated into kind of this big, you know, you could almost call it like just a big, like, first aid kit.
Oh, that's a great way of looking at it.
You know, and I've just got, you open it up, you've got all these different little things that you you know, like, I'm not going to use a huge Band-Aid for a little scratch, you know.
Oh, that's a great point.
And I'm not going to use a tiny Band-Aid for a gaping hole.
Yeah.
You know.
Totally. And, like, really getting in touch with what you need, with what your body needs, with what your mind needs, instead of just being so consumed by the emotion itself. Like, being able to learn new coping skills and mechanisms that help you understand those parts of you better. And also, like, I want to incorporate also healing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when you have just specific traumas, like, we all have trauma, and when you don't really address those things, and you just continually just push them to the side, like, it's almost a way of your body saying, like, hey, you have things that you're holding on to still that you haven't really processed, whether it's from childhood or whenever it happens, that, like, it's a way of your body saying, like, you have things that you need to heal from. You have things that are taking up space in your body that are consuming your thoughts and your reactions. And it's like your body knows that there's a better way, and it's those protective parts of your mind that's, like, trying to convince your body to, like, no, I don't want to bring these back up because these hurt me before.
Yeah. And, you know, you talked about this in maybe your first or one of your early podcasts, and you just said, like, you used to think that you would analyze and you would plan out every possible future that can come, and you kind of convinced yourself, like, okay, like, this is a good thing that I'm doing because, like, I'm going to be ready for every situation. Like that. And I was the exact same way, and that just leads to anxiety. When you are, you know, there's nothing wrong with thinking and planning for the future, but as soon as it starts shifting towards more negative, you know, kind of a negative, you know, more negatively, that's anxiety. And it's funny because, you know, you've talked about when you're alone, you know, that's when those thoughts are going to start coming. And, you know, 10:30 at night, you're laying in bed. Like, when I was struggling, it was like, oh my God, like, everything is so bad.
Yeah,
and
like, I feel like dying.
Yeah, and, like, my growth has shifted from worrying about what's going to happen, worrying about this, and this, to, like, appreciating where I'm at, and also being able to, like, look back and kind of analyze and think and rerun through different experiences I've had. And it's not like, and, you know, me, like, looking back, it's not like, oh God, I should have done this differently. It's more so like, all right, well, I did it this way. Like, how did that affect?
That's a great point.
How did this affect me? Like, what have I learned from it? What can I learn from it? Like, and you know, where do I go from here? And so that shift from, like, worrying to evaluating and just, like, appreciating, like, where I'm at, and it's just been so good for me.
That's
and honestly, like, and that's, if I could hold a seminar with, you know, 10,000 teenagers, that's what I would say. It's just, like, shift your mindset from worrying about the future to appreciating the moment, and also evaluating and learning from the past.
Oh, totally. Honestly,
you know,
that was
that's
very
all
well
I'd say.
said. That was very well said. And I think I've tried to incorporate a little bit of those lessons with like baseball and coaching, which I'm doing. Is that like there's so many life lessons with games, like I'm sure there are as well with lacrosse, of like with baseball, like if you're so consumed with, if you're so worried about the next inning, about what's going to happen while you're in that inning that you're in, you're going to make a mistake because you're not mentally there. Or if you're so frustrated and pissed off about something that you did or didn't do in the inning before, then again, you're going to not be there fully mentally and you're going to make a mistake and where you're at. And that's a perpetuating issue.
Yeah.
So it's like the life lesson in baseball can directly transfer to real life, that if you are constantly in a state of being frustrated about your past or pissed off about experiences that you had, or so heavily stressing or worrying about the future, you're going to not have an enjoyable experience in the time that you're at for a lifetime.
Yeah.
And that's really sad to think about. There's so many people are struggling with.
Well, 2 more Utah lacrosse quotes that are just so powerful is one being just be where your feet are. And that's kind of going back to what I've talked about, just like appreciating where I'm at. It's just like, this is where I am. This is what I have to do. Like, that's all I'm going to be worried about. And then the second one that I love is just an approach to when you make a mistake or when you mess up. And it's an acronym, and it's called RALF, RALF. And what it means is, when you make a mistake, whether it's on the field, in life, whatever it may be, you recognize, what did I do? On the baseball field, I should have thrown it to second instead of first, Admit it, like, okay, like I did this, it was wrong, I understand that. And then the L is learn from it, and that's kind of taking a step back and thinking I should have done this as opposed to this, this is going to be better, this is going to be worse, just evaluating and learning. And then the F is just forget about it, because when you hang on to those mistakes, all you're doing is you're dragging yourself down, and especially in a team setting, you're going to drag your team down. And even in life, like in a relationship, if you make a mistake and you just let it wear you down and it just brings you down, you're hurting those around you. So it's like, again, it's going back, it's like it's being a little selfish by just holding on to it, because it's selfish towards yourself, because you're letting yourself stay hurt and letting yourself not grow. And then eventually it's going to start damaging relationships around you.
Totally, dude. That was so well said. And like, I think that also goes for like, pay attention to people that focus on your faults. And those are the types of people that you need to distance yourself from. Because like, I've really come to understand, like, well, for sure, dude, like people that weigh so heavily on what you're not doing and what you're doing wrong, that's usually a projection of how they see themselves internally. But that is just so damaging to be around for you, and that's such like a deep dark hole that like you constantly are trying to prove yourself to, that you're trying to show someone that like, no, I'm not this person, I'm not what you say you are. And that's a cycle that like you can't win, because that's their issue. So it's like what you're saying is what we need to do for ourselves is also pay attention to, that's what we need to do for other people as well.
Yep, absolutely.
I'm so proud of you. No, dude, I'm really struggling with holding my bladder.
Dude, go pee.
That's a psychological thing that I've had since a kid.
Just go
pee. Where as soon as it's like, if I have to go pee, it's not like, oh, I have to go pee soon. It's like, I'm gonna pee my pants in 3 seconds.
Oh, so it just comes. Just go pee. It's fine.
Else, dude, I feel like this was pretty good.
You felt like it was productive?
Absolutely.
How long have we been gone?
We've been on for quite a while now. I'd say probably
30, 45
minutes. That's more than enough time.
18.
Yeah, dude, let's yeah, dude.
Yeah, just over 30 minutes. I went to like talking to my phone. And also it's like I don't need to tell them. It's like why do I need to tell either of them? I'm just telling you. God, I'm an idiot.
You're such an idiot.
Is there anything else you want to talk about? Any questions?
Dude, I just got a notification.
When
Go
else
to
never
gym
did
leg
anything.
day.
Yeah, I've taken a break on physical exercise.
That's
I
totally
love
okay.
it. And I
Well,
I think I earned it.
You've had years of being an absolute animal.
Yeah, I think I've earned it, and I've definitely taken my time. But like, and that's why I want to get a bike so bad. Is like, and that's I
Like
just
doing things that are really
it's like
enjoyable,
I do, yeah, because I like fucking love mountain
not
biking.
exercising for performance.
No, it's just like that's exactly it. And it's just like I'm just excited to like be able to exercise like for fun, and lacrosse, like just like sports in general. I'm so excited to like just start playing pickup basketball again.
Yeah, dude.
Or like I'm gonna go play men's league tonight. Like
Dude, that's such an interesting thing though, because just looking at like like you've said, you've come so far, and like looking at where you've been, like just looking at myself and like my mental state of like anything that was like super difficult, like I mentally did not want to do. Like physical exercise, like my mind was so heavily like trying to get myself to not do it, and like biking, it just wasn't enjoyable. So then just like reprogramming and retraining your brain to like this is actually enjoyable, and it's like starting to enjoy the experience of really pushing yourself and seeing how far you can do, instead of just like hating the whole experience from A to Z.
Well, what's your exercise looking like right now? 'Cause you look good.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate that.
So you go ahead, and then I found something fun.
I go to the gym probably like 2 or 3 times a week on average. And
do you just go to Vasa?
Yeah, dude, Vasa, bro.
On Van Winkle.
Van Wink. And then I'm training for a marathon right now.
That's fucked up.
And then I bike every now and then.
Occasionally. Well, once I get a mountain bike, I'm gonna go like 2-3 times a week, probably.
Yeah,
oh,
dude.
I want to go more. No, I'm just consistently on KSL, just like ripping through mountain bikes.
Rip.
Yeah, just literally like
Mountain biking.
Like I
is so
sent
fun,
Ezra
dude.
and Hannah. I can't wait for you to hang out more. I can't wait for you to hang out more with Hannah. But like,
Make sure you tell the people.
I know. I'm fucking stupid.
That's why I was like, you should probably sit here. Whatever.
But like, I literally am like sending lists. Like there's 7 bikes on here that like I sent to Hannah and Ezra. Like, hey, are any of these good?
Yeah.
But there's here. Look at this one. It's because what do you have? You have a Scott, right?
This Scott Spark. She's a dirty girl right now.
She's a dirty little bitch.
She's a dirty little girl. That's sexy. Trek Fuel.
Fuel X5. It is. I would like a large, but that's what dude. Nobody has or is selling bikes right now.
You should do a large.
I decided I want a large.
You just to whip it around a little more.
Yeah, because
have a little more play, a little schnauks.
Literally.
Rip those berms, dude.
Absolutely. And it's like I'm not gonna be getting any bigger. Like this is the biggest I'll ever be.
Bullshit, dude.
Dude.
You don't think you'll go hard again one day when you get that freaking fever? When you start looking at gym rats again, and you're like, oh, I want to freaking be yoked.
I mean,
do you think that was like when we were talking about ego? Like, do you think that was like obviously it was for yourself to see like how big you could get, but like
it was.
You definitely like enjoyed a little bit too of like people seeing that you look like the Hulk.
This is no. This is gonna be a little bit heavy, but it was like that was a way for me to like self harm.
I see.
Like.
That's not heavy. It's understandable.
It's like because it really
okay. Like, these are important subjects to talk about, and like I'm interested with this because
none of this is blacklisted. If you want to ask questions,
dope. Because like when like your internals are like causing so much damage, and it's like being so destructive, and like you feel so much darkness and like so much pain that it's like the body. Like some people, why they would do that, because I feel like a lot of people that don't understand, like, why would someone like self-harm themselves? But it's like
if you took a look at
way to get those feelings out.
Yeah,
like it's a way to like
it's a release. Like I just throw on the angriest. Like for 4 years in a row, my Spotify, you know how it does like your top 100 songs every year. Usually like the first 2 within the first 5 top songs, one of them is like camp, and then one of them is Marilyn Manson. Marilyn Manson or Rob Zombie.
That is the wildest spectrum ever.
But it's like it's like you go through my music, it's like it's some pretty fucking aggressive music.
Yeah.
But no, it's like I mean it's just it really was just so much of like I lifted angry. I didn't lift for fun. I lifted angry.
I see.
and in the weight room.
Like, you needed a place to put all that shit.
Yeah. And, you know, when I would go work out by myself, it was pure rage. It was just like, I just need to hurt.
Yeah.
And then, like, with lacrosse, like, team workouts, it was just so competitive. It was like, fuck you. Like, I'm gonna squat, I'm gonna bench, I'm gonna hang clean more than
like,
you.
yeah, for performance.
Yeah.
Like, really proving your spot, earning your spot.
Yeah. And so that was like, that's just something, you know, and I've talked to Hannah about this because she's you know, just anyone that was an athlete understands this, that just how important competition is.
Totally.
But the thing with me, and, you know, you'll never lose that competition with yourself, with others, you know, like me, as we're going a bike ride, we're going to see who's like the best, who can rip, you know, go the fastest.
Freaking Ezra.
He's fucking rip. Yeah, fuck Ezra. He's going to win no matter. Well, yeah. And it's like, you know, and like skating too. It's like,
oh my gosh.
It's like, come on, like go get that, you know, go hit it.
Totally.
And so it's just something that I'm just so excited for is being able to compete in a non-stressful environment.
Yeah. See.
Because that's what lacrosse was. It was just like, I need to, like, it's just, you know, I need to win. And it's like, not, you know.
Which,
play it off.
But that's, I feel like, what's his name?
Ezra?
No.
Our friend?
From Queen.
From Queen?
The main singer of Queen.
Oh, Freddie Mercury?
Freddie Mercury, yeah. He always held the freaking stick. Anyway.
Oh, that's what you were implying.
Hold the stick.
Yeah. Well, do you want to fix it?
No. I really
Do you want to take the mic off and just hold the mic instead?
Yes, thank you for helping me with this.
You're welcome.
What were we just talking about?
Healthy competition.
Healthy
Non-stressful competition. And that's the thing. I hate non-competitive people. Yeah. They're just not. It's like, really? Like when I go golf with my family, it's like, yes, like I'm there to have fun, but it's like, I'm going to talk shit.
Yeah.
Like, I want you to talk shit.
I want you to hurt me.
Yeah, like, come on, like, let's make it fun.
See, that is interesting, and where sometimes I get frustrated with myself, like, with, like, that competitive nature, or just, like, taking action of, like, having, like, we've all kind of felt the lull of, like, going into a pandemic and having things slow down, like, which has been beneficial.
Thank God that's over.
Yeah.
Holy shit, I hate COVID.
Yeah, dude.
Sorry.
But just like with beforehand, it was just like go, and then going into like a period of like slowing things down, and then things opening up, and me feeling like, oh, like that competitive part of like I want to be accomplishing a lot of things, and like not really knowing where to put like the action, which
yeah, I mean, it's
competitive with yourself.
Yeah.
Which, yeah.
No, that's so spot on. It's just like, you know, I just keep going back to like, and that's something else I've like really tried to grow out of, is like just kind of finding like silver linings and everything. Is like with COVID, it's like, yeah, I hated that so much, and I was, you know, on crutches for 4 months.
Yeah.
Because of my foot. It's like,
forgot about
like,
that.
and like that's a pretty, and I hurt my foot on my 21st birthday.
Oh, that's magical.
In Massachusetts. Just a horrible 3-month, 4-month span. Did bad in school. Was taking 12, you know, I was full-time summer. Like, it was not a good time for me at all. But like, but again, like, it just like now it's like, holy shit. Like,
you got through that.
I got through, and it's like, I just know like how much better, like, cause I worked my ass off in like one of my hard classes and got an A in it, and then did really well this year in school. And it's like, I just keep going back to perspective, and it's like, if you can take the time to evaluate and find good just from every little thing, it's just like, it just makes you so much better.
Yeah, living in
it's
a
like,
state of like gratitude and like being grateful for things, instead of constantly
absolutely
being like, this is so shitty, like this, because then that literally, like, I'm interested with like topics of like manifestation, like whatever, but like I feel like we get distracted by what words we use.
Yeah.
But when we're talking about all of these things, like when you're living in the past and like thinking about all the shitty things, or like just looking at things as like being crappy, like that's what your physical environment is going to be, and that's all that you're going to bring from your experiences.
And that's just how you're going to feel. You're just going to feel shitty.
Yeah.
And it's like, when you shift that mindset to like, oh man, this sucks, or like, man,
great.
like, I'm glad I experienced it, like, you just feel so much better.
Totally.
And like, it can be like being gracious and like being thankful for things is hard. It's like, it does take practice, but once you kind of figure it out, you just feel so much better.
Yeah. And we also live in a society that's built upon like success being material things and money and fame
and like bringing people down too.
Yeah.
It's like
dude, like
a lot of it's like, who can I step on to get on top?
Dude.
Yeah.
Like people that this company that I worked for, like I was always so fascinated by the people that like were really grounded and like down to earth and like really cared about other people, because it made so much sense to me that obviously someone who doesn't care about stepping on people is gonna get ahead in the business world. And so like that's so frustrating that it is a society built on you can be rewarded by being a piece of shit.
Yeah. I mean, it's and there's definitely a fine balance of like being assertive and like being a go-getter, but also it's like, keep in mind of who you're leaving, in the tracks behind you.
Yeah.
Who's in those footprints.
Yeah. That's a great point.
Who's the bug on the bottom of your foot that you stepped on to get to where you're at.
Totally.
And I just think a lot of people just either don't care or just lose sight of that and just aren't. Ooh, you hungry? Yeah. And just, there are a lot of people who don't care and just who don't take the time to kind of evaluate how their actions influence others or how their actions,
Totally.
Whatever.
Oh, brother. Dude, we got through all of the subjects.
22.
Dude, here's to men's health.
Men's health. 22.70.
No, dude. I think we're good. Let's we'll end it here, dude. Thanks for coming on, brother.
Well, it's just so funny. Two things that just make me laugh right now is like, that right there. I can just see the battle going on in your head. It's like, all right, do I make this serious? Do I make it funny? Do I actually make it an outro? Whatever.
I know.
And then secondly, it's like
the starts and the endings are the hardest part.
Yeah. And then the other thing I'm laughing about, and it just makes me happy, is like this is like kind of the second or third time we've like tried ending this, but we just keep talking.
Yeah.
It's like we just keep talking about random stuff, and it's just like nice.
It is nice, dude.
It is. It's like,
see, and that's what like really I had this. Like it'd be cool just a conversation. To save these conversations.
Yeah, just a conversation.
Like friends and stuff.
Well, and even if like you don't post it, like this is something I'm gonna play at our wedding.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. It's like
at our wedding.
At our wedding.
Hell yeah.
At our weddings.
Dude, I didn't know we were coming out so fast, dude.
Yeah, but it's like something that we'll, be able to share and,
Totally. No, I totally agree.
It's just fun.
You're just grappling schnauks.
Yeah. Just deleting beers. I can't wait for my wedding. I'm going to push the limits of being drunk.
Of not remembering the wedding. That sounds awesome.
It's gonna be so fun.
That's why you hire a photographer.
Yeah,
they can.
That's where I'm gonna spend the money. Is just on a nice maybe like 3 photographers, so I don't miss anything.
Oh, this happened at my wedding.
Yeah. Oh, I took my.
This
pants
looks
off.
like it was actually a really enjoyable experience.
Yeah. No, I wrote a.
Yeah. Oh, I look happy.
Yeah. Oh my god, I look like that. All right, cool.
Drooling at your wedding.
Hi, babe, I love you.
Oh, that sounds magical. Yeah, dude.
All right, well, did you do your outro already? Are you happy with it?
The outro is
the podcast is over. Goodbye. Same thing I said earlier is just gonna be like, be where your feet are, right? Appreciate where you're at. Appreciate the people around you, right? Looking into the future is not a bad thing when it's not kind of negatively biased, when you're not worried about the future. Looking in the past is a bad thing when you're regretting and you're dreading, but it's a really, really healthy thing when you can kind of pick apart these experiences and learn from it. So be where your feet are. Look forward to the future. Don't dread for the future. And learn from the past. Don't let yourself... don't linger on the past. How about that?
Beautiful. Beautiful, Steele. And that is why we wanted Steele on the podcast for Men's Health Week. Poster child. Anyway, have a great week, everyone. We'll see you later. And, bye.